All ships, ice has been spotted. Maintain ice lookouts. Break formation is authorized.
Surface radar has a new contact. Bearing 108. Range 4,800 yards.
Bridge, combat. New surface contact from radar. Bearing 108. Range 4,800 yards. I designate contact able. Time 3-1.
Contact able now bears 106. Range 4,400 yards.
Lookouts. Anything at 106. I see nothing. Bearing 106.
Contact able now
Radio,
bears
Captain. Send a report to Convoy Commodore.
Range
Jansen has unknown
4,100
contact on
yards.
radar. Front of the convoy.
Contact able, coming in much more strongly. I evaluate as a definite contact.
Captain I. Officer of the deck, set general quarters.
Set general quarters. Aye. General quarters. General quarters. All hands man your battle stations. Set conditions zebra throughout the ship.
Stern depth charge detail manned and ready. Main battery ports manned and ready. Engineering officer of the watch reports engineering manned and ready. Zebra set. 4 boilers online. Max speed 32 knots. Electric plant split. All fire pumps online.
Very well.
Bloodhound, this is Black Cat. Air support on station.
Contact able now bears 099er. Range 3,600 yards.
Stand by to fire.
9-9. Aye, sir.
All engines.
Start tracking contact. Target acquired.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Destroyer the U-Boat Hunter. So we are continuing on with our next battle. We have Able here on the surface under radar contact. We're going to take her under fire.
Range 3,300
Luckily
yards.
this time we actually have, this is our first mission with Air Patrol with Black Cat overhead, so they're going to provide some
Fire.
depth charges, death from above if you will.
Fire.
In this video, I'm going to continue on with my discussion on destroyer warfare as it was used during World War II.
All engines.
As of course, anyone who wants to look further into this, I recommend you read Norman Friedman's U.S. Destroyers, an illustrated design history.
Last range,
Probably one of the
3,000
best books
yards.
out there on the development and design of destroyers in the U.S. Navy, as well as a lot of their uses during warfare.
New sonar contact. Bearing
So I'm going to talk a little bit about Task Force anti-aircraft screening.
2,000.
Now, it's not really that much related to this game because we're only focused on anti-submarine warfare here, but,
Fire 1.
Object.
one of the rules of
Fire 2.
the destroyer at the start of the war was primarily anti-aircraft screening and the breaking up of air attacks on capital ships using their 5-inch guns. Around 1943, several years into the war, fighter direction had improved and carrier air power became the best means of defending the fleet from air attacks. The guns of the screening ships thus were not used as the primary means of stopping an air attack, but rather to stop any leakers who got through the combat air patrol.
Niner.
Early radar warning and fighter control became the major functions of destroyers, particularly from the Battle of Leyte Gulf onward and through the Okinawa campaign against kamikazes.
7,800.
Large numbers of destroyers were assigned to screen a capital ship because the range of the 5-inch gun ultimately determined that number.
Baker, last bearing
The limited endurance of destroyers was, of course, an issue.
2,000 yards.
Combat zone.
Alright, so we've got a Baker here now.
2, 1, 4. Range 400.
But in October of 1942, Task Force 17, composed of USS Hornet, which was accompanied with 2 heavy cruisers, 2 anti-aircraft light cruisers, and 6 destroyers, made a run-in to a launch position at 28 knots, but they had left the destroyers behind, which were traveling at 19 knots to conserve fuel.
Wake on right.
It was hoped that the destroyers would join the task force and augment its anti-aircraft firepower by the time that the air group was recovered aboard. The commander-in-chief noted that the ideal screen would have been 3 light cruisers, 3 anti-aircraft light cruisers, and 14 destroyers, making up 2 destroyers per heavy ship. But such numbers were ultimately unrealistic and never really achieved, even late in the war.
0.
By that time, however, it didn't really matter because better fighter direction and the VT timed fuse, that is a proximity fuse shell, made up for it. By March of 1943, the proposed ideal carrier task force was 2 carriers with a screen of 10 to 12 destroyers and 3 heavy cruisers per carrier, or alternatively, 10 to 12 destroyers with 1 fast battleship and 2 anti-aircraft light cruisers or some combination per carrier. The destroyers would be stationed at the 1,500 or 2,500 yard circle around the carriers. The screening ships would be permanently assigned to the carrier task force. Once an air attack was imminent, the 2 carriers with their assigned escorts would separate by at least 25 to 30 miles and then operate independently.
6,700 yards. I designate.
Alright, so I'm going to send Black Cat there after Charlie.
311.
Black Cat.
Now, this 20 to 30 mile separation would therefore make fighter direction easier, but in practice, by November of that year of 1943, Task Force 50 that was hitting Tarawa contained 4 task groups with 2 fleet carriers, 1 light carrier. That being said, only Task Group 50.4 had only 1 fleet carrier, and their screens varied. So, for example, Task Group 50.1 had 5 heavy cruisers, 1 anti-aircraft light cruiser, and 8 destroyers. In total, there were 33 destroyers attached to this task force, and they were a mix of all Fletchers in 3 task groups, with the 4th having Benhams and Benson class destroyers. During the operation against Tarawa,
Bloodhound.
the Japanese introduced night torpedo attacks from low-level land-based bombers. Radar provided no early warning. The captain of the severely damaged USS Independence opined that stationing picket vessels or low-flying aircraft screens would prevent these attacks from sneaking up on them again. During the Battle of Leyte Gulf in October 1944, each task group of Task Force 38 was operating with 2 fleet carriers, 2 light carriers, and a screen of cruisers and destroyers. Task Group 38.1 had 3 heavy cruisers, 1 light cruiser, and 15 destroyers, with some fighter direction teams for radar picket duty.
This is the captain.
By 1944, Task Force 38 was operating with 16 fleet carriers and 57 destroyers rather than the 160 to 190 destroyers that the 1943 doctrine required.
Active search. 1-8-1 through 2-7-1. Aye, sir.
All right, I'm just kind of leaving hockey up there, so we have someone in reserve. So, and hopefully just keep listening in a particular direction. We're about ready to make another run here.
Combat sonar. Contact.
Able. Now bears 0-6.
Now, following operations in the Marianas off Leyte, it was found that Disposition 5-V, which had worked well for anti-aircraft defense against torpedo bombers, was not well suited for use against dive bombers, glide bombers, or kamikazes, which specifically aimed for the carriers.
6.
It was found that planes could pass over the screen at high altitudes and dive in on the carriers at high speed, rendering the anti-aircraft guns of the screen helpless. It was found that the screen needed to be tightened. Still, destroyers needed to be on the outer edges of the screen to defend against torpedo attacks, but they were dispersed, which meant their contributions were of kind of little use. Heavy ships with their many anti-aircraft guns would be on circle number 4 of the screen, that is 4,000 yards from the formation center, with the carriers on circle 2.5. Alternatively, the screening ships could be on circle 5 and the carriers on circle 3.5. Should a torpedo attack develop, the screen would expand to circle 5 with minimal confusion.
2-1-0. Range 5,100 yards. Lost contact. Charlie.
Fire.
Last bearing 2-1-2.
Now, regarding radar picket duty, the Okinawa campaign, 15 picket stations were created to function as radar early warning, fighter direction, and for destroying enemy aircraft, disrupting incoming raids, and friendly aircraft search and rescue.
5.
These pickets were ordered to fire on any unidentified aircraft that approached within 12,000 yards, regardless of whether or not they had a good firing solution.
Lost
Now,
contact.
note that not every destroyer on radar picket functioned as fighter directors, but that was preferred when fighter director personnel were available.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey.
The radar pickets were distinct from the ASW and anti-surface screens which other destroyers were assigned to.
From Bloodhound.
The success of the destroyer pickets off Okinawa were commented on by the commander of Cruiser Division 6, who wrote, quote, The need for radar pickets is fundamental. Facilities for early information of approaching enemy planes and their interception by combat air patrol controlled by fighter direction ships from advanced positions must be provided in naval operations. This is true whether the operations involve the approach of a fast striking force toward a land objective, the pre-landing day work of underwater demolition, minesweeping, bombardment, etc., of an amphibious attack where massive naval forces must remain concentrated at the objective for an extended period of time.
Able has most likely been sunk by Hockey.
Combat sonar.
Alright, well, Hockey finally got able.
0.
In this operation, it was necessary to station pickets at considerable distances, that is around 75 miles, from the center of the area, in order to cover the most probable directions of approach from aircraft from enemy bases, and at the same time to prevent approaching enemy planes from taking advantage of adjacent land masses. While the picket stations were close enough to each other to permit passing control of friendly fighters from one ship to another without losing contact, the stations were not close enough to permit mutual support against either air attack or surface raiders. Steps were taken to alleviate the condition by the assignment of an additional destroyer to each of the pickets in the quote-unquote more vulnerable stations by stationing various small craft such as LCSs, that is, landing craft support ships, and LCIs, landing craft infantry vessels, in position to support the pickets. Severe damage and losses for destroyers on radar picket led some proposals for seizure of outlying islands to use as radar stations, and even the use of submarines as radar pickets. That said, submarine radars had fairly limited range. Airborne radar pickets using carrier-based Avengers and flying fortresses equipped with radars with special cap assignments to protect them were also suggested.
Ready depth charges, medium pattern. Course 2, A7. Fire 1.
Alright, we're just working dog over here.
Bloodhound, this is Maple. Maple lost contact.
Fire 2.
Last known.
See if we can get him.
2, 8, range, 7,600 yards.
Fire
Bloodhound.
3. Combat sonar. Contact. Dog.
Now, some destroyers, such as USS Hugh W. Hadley, were subjected to saturation attacks from kamikazes.
Combat sonar.
In Hadley's case, they were attacked by 10 aircraft, 4 on the starboard bow, 4 on the port bow, and 2 astern, while she was leading a force of 2 destroyers, that is Hadley and Evans. They also had 3 LCSs and an LSM. All were supported by a 12-fighter combat air patrol. On 11 May 1945, a series of 5 raids were detected on an air search radar estimated to be 156 planes.
This is Bloodhound.
The combat air patrol were vectored to engage and reported 40 to 50 planes shot down, which does seem kinda high, maybe overstated. The remaining planes attacked the 2 destroyers. Hadley claimed 4 shot down that were trying to pass them by and reach Okinawa.
Escorts. Contact Charlie has most likely been sunk by Maple. Congratulations to your crew.
Okay, we got Charlie. Still working over dog.
Lost contact. Fire 2. Last bearing 2.
That being said, the rest of the planes attacked the pickets. Hadley, quote-unquote, claimed a total of 23 planes shot down, but was eventually overwhelmed. Hadley was hit by a bomb aft, a Baka bomb, that is a human suicide bomb, and a suicide plane aft, and by a suicide plane in her rigging. The resulting damage flooded both engine rooms and a fire room and knocked out all of her 5-inch guns. Yet, she survived.
5,000.
The debate would continue as to what constituted effective support for destroyers on picket duty, whether that be more destroyers, more LCSs with more guns, or more combat air patrol.
Designate contact. Easy.
In contrast to the Pacific, destroyers in the Mediterranean theater lacked carrier air support and faced almost constant attacks from mass formations of land-based aircraft. Meanwhile, the carriers only intermittently faced large air attacks.
Last bearing.
In European waters, Germany deployed guided bombs and missiles from September 1943 onward. Some destroyers and destroyer escorts were fitted with jamming equipment. Destroyers assigned to the Mediterranean in 1943 had their torpedo tubes temporarily replaced with Army-type single Bofors 40mm guns.
Maple maneuvering to new station.
Surface radar has.
Alright, so that's a little bit about the role of destroyers in anti-air warfare and on picket duty.
200 yards.
Stand by fire. Target bearing. 1.
Now we got Easy. We're gonna shoot at her with some guns.
Contact.
I'm going to end my historical discussion of destroyers off there, and we'll continue on in a later video.
3,000 yards.
Then talking about anti-submarine warfare with destroyers.
Port bow.
Target bearing 162. Fire. 2,500 yards. Fire.
Contact. Easy. Now bears 162. Range 2,300 yards.
Fire. 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 Fire.
All in. Lost contact. Easy. Last bearing 162. Last range 2,100 yards.
Bloodhound, this is Maple. Maple regaining contact. Easy. Bearing. 1.
Alright, Maple's right alongside us here. We're going after Easy.
Bloodhound.
Let's see if we can get her.
Sonar contact. Easy. Bearing. 179. Range. From Bloodhound.
Fire 1. Fire 2. All engines ahead.
We're right over Easy. Let's see if we do any damage.
Aye, sir.
Sonar.
Combat sonar.
Regain contact. Easy. Bearing 3.
Some near hits.
Range 600 yards. Active
Really? Those are misses? They look pretty close.
0, 1, 9. Aye, sir.
Combat sonar. Contact. Easy.
Alright, coming around again.
1 0. Range
Fire
100
1.
yards.
Estimated depth shallow. Fire 2. Combat sonar. Lost contact. Fire 3. Last bearing 227. Last range 100 yards.
Bloodhound, this is Maple. Maple now has sonar contact. Easy. Bearing 207. Range 200 yards from Bloodhound.
Agrees right. Rudder 30.
Oh man, I keep getting measly little near hits on Easy here.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey now has sonar contact. Easy. Bearing 2.
Alright, there's Hockey over there.
Range 600 yards.
We have sonar contact again.
Sonar, combat. Investigate arc. 2, 2, 4. Through 3, 1, 4.
Combat sonar. Investigating arc.
Hockey's making an attack.
Through 3, 1, 4. Sonar.
We're using Gordon Bombay's flying V formation, of course.
Bloodhound, this is Maple. Maple now has sonar
That's a
contact.
Mighty
Easy.
Ducks reference,
Bearing
people. But
296.
anyway,
Range 800 yards from Bloodhound.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey lost contact. Easy. Last known bearing 297. Range 800 yards from Bloodhound.
well, that was an okay run, Hockey. Yes, I know there's ice.
Bearings drifting left.
Rising Star has been torpedoed and is taking on water. We've lost.
Oh shucks, Rising Star. Alright, Maple,
Maneuver to avoid.
go get those survivors,
This
please.
is Bloodhound. Maneuver to pick up survivors from Rising Star.
Combat sonar.
Thankfully, we've driven everyone off, so we only have Easy left.
0.
Thus far, anyway.
0. Range 900 yards. Estimated depth shallow.
Roger. Maple searching. Rising Star. Position for survivors. Bearing 071. Range 2,300 yards from guide.
Ready depth charges. Shallow pattern. Combat sonar. Lost contact.
Alright, let's do this. Fire!
5, 1. Last range 200 yards. Fire 2.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey now has sonar contact.
Fire
Easy.
3.
Bearing 214. Range 100 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge.
Hey, critical hit. I got it.
Bearing 1.
A bunch of near hits.
Bridge. Poor lookout. Floating debris.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey lost contact. Easy. Last known bearing 181. Range 400 yards from Bloodhound.
Left.
Rudder 25.
Well, Hockey, if you hear them breaking up, then we know we sunk them.
All escorts. Contact Easy has most likely been sunk by a Bloodhound. Good job.
Hooray, we got them!
Hockey reporting.
Alright, Hockey,
Hockey.
get back
this is
down there.
Bloodhound. Take new station in convoy screen.
Roger. Hockey
Maple's
taking
still
station.
moving to pick up the survivors.
Combat sonar. New sonar contact. Bearing.
A new sonar contact, Fox! Oh my gosh.
2,700 yards.
That must have been the submarine, maybe, that torpedoed that
Bearing
Rising Star or whatever ship.
range
Hockey, go after him.
700 yards. I designate contact. Fox. Time 3.
Oh man, we're heading into some ice.
Attack your contact.
Acknowledge.
We're gonna have to watch where we're going. We don't want to do a Titanic here.
2, 4, 7. Range
2,000.
Man, she's right in the middle of this
Bearing
ice.
steady. Ready depth charges. Shallow pattern. Rudder 25 degrees left.
Rudder, 25 degrees left. Aye, sir.
Fire 2. Combat sonar. Lost contact. Fox. Last bearing 3. 3. 8. Last range 100 yards.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey now has sonar contact. Fox. Bearing 075. Range 100 yards from Bloodhound.
Well, we got a bunch of near hits. I guess that's better than nothing.
Search. 3, 2, 4.
Let's come right.
1, 4.
Avoid the icebergs.
Search. 3, 2, 4. Through. 1, 4, 4. Ice.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey
There's
now
Hockey
has
on the
sonar
other side of the
contact.
iceberg.
Fox. Bearing 064. Range 400 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, ice lookout. Iceberg, dead ahead.
Combat sonar.
Boy, we are in some very iceberg congested waters here.
6. Range 100 yards. Estimated depth medium. Combat
Fire
sonar.
1. Lost contact. Fox. Last bearing 0, 2, 1, 2. Last range 100 yards. 3.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey now has sonar contact. Fox. Bearing 010. Range 200 yards from Bloodhound.
Sonar. This is the captain. Perform active search. 3, 2, 4, 2, 0, 5, 4. Active search. 3, 2, 4. Through. 0, 5, 4. Aye, sir.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey now has sonar contact.
Wow, those look awfully close, and yet they're misses and near hits. And a little bit of light damage.
From Bloodhound.
I think this game's throwing me for one.
Combat sonar. Contact.
There's Hockey dead ahead of us.
0,
And an iceberg. They're gonna make a depth charge attack in just a second here.
estimated depth.
There they go.
Bridge, ice lookout. Iceberg, port bow.
Alright, Hockey, keep moving. We're gonna follow up your attack.
Combat sonar. Contact. Fox. Now bears 0, 7, 9. Range 600 yards. Estimated depth shallow.
Bridge,
Hockey, you
ice
missed.
lookout.
I'm very
Iceberg,
disappointed in you.
port bow.
You're a disgrace to the Navy. Dishonor. You must fight with more honor.
Bridge, ice lookout. Iceberg, port bow.
Combat sonar. Contact. Fox. Now bears 0, 8, 6. Range 300 yards. Combat sonar. Contact. Fox. Now bears 0, 8, 8. Range 300 yards. Estimated depth shallow.
Bridge, ice lookout. Iceberg, port bow.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey made a depth charge attack on contact. Fox.
Bridge, port lookout. Warship, CBDR.
Yes, I know.
0, 8, 3.
Alright, let's fire.
Closing
Fire.
quickly.
There we
I
go.
say again,
We're right over him.
CBDR.
Combat sonar. Fire contact.
Let me show you how it's done, Hockey.
0. Fire 3, 9. Last range 100 yards.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey now has sonar contact. Fox. Bearing 247. Range from Bloodhound.
Sonar.
Come right.
This is the captain.
Don't want to go and crash into an iceberg here.
2, 2, 7. 2.
Bloodhound, this is Hockey. Hockey now has sonar contact. Fox. Bearing 274. Range 300 yards from Bloodhound.
Combat sonar. Regain contact.
Fox. Bearing 2, 7, 9. Range 400 yards. Investigating arc 2, 2, 7 through
Really?
1.
Those look pretty
7.
closer than
Aye,
near
sir.
hits, to be honest.
Fire 1.
Well, we're gonna try again.
Fire 2.
Hockey now has sonar contact. Fox. Bearing
Fire 3.
15. Range 200 yards from Bloodhound.
Bridge, ice lookout. Iceberg, port bow.
Well, on the upshot, we're keeping Fox pinned down, so that might be all we need.
Combat sonar. Contact. Fox. Now bears 2, 5, 7. Range 1,100 yards. Very strong propeller noise.
The enemy is retreating. All escorts, return to formation and resume sonar responsibility.
Alright, we successfully drove them off, and we sank a whole bunch of them. We finally have the victory music. Let's see how we scored here on this mission. Or this battle, I should say. Hey, we achieved an epic victory, S rank. Unfortunately, 1 ship lost, but 5 U-boats sunk. My first S rank, I feel so proud.
That was one hell of a fight. The enemy tried time after time, but they could not penetrate our defenses. We protected the convoy well. The convoy saw very small losses today. If it hadn't been for that first U-boat that got through, we would have come out unscathed. We really overwhelmed the U-boats today. The combined threat of sonar and radar gave them nowhere to hide. The ice lookouts did an exceptional job, and the crew's skillful maneuvering got us through safely. All things considered, things are going really well. The merchant captains need more discipline. The longer bad weather persists, the more often ships break formation and leave the slower ones behind. Let's just hope it doesn't turn into some kind of disaster.